go ahead now and bring our guest in this afternoon. It's Stephen Dixon. Stephen has been with us before. He's the author of a book called Men Don't Heal. Hey, man, how you doing, Stephen?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Thanks for having me on again.
It's good to see you, my friend.
It's going well, man. This article, in essence, today wrote about was 10 practical skills to be successful at marriage.
Right.
And it's celebrating Black Marriage Day, which is March 28th.
Now, tell me all about Black Marriage Day, because to be honest with you, none of us in this room had heard about this. Is it something new? Is it something that's been around for a minute? How long?
Somebody just emailed me about it like 2 months.
Okay.
The first things I wanted to make sure I said was, and I didn't get a chance to put that in the article, where I wrote about an article where 10 things that you can do to make those things better. But one of the things we did want to talk about was, with men, I want to challenge our men to make sure our marriages are working. And so what I said was, and I've been saying this repeatedly, is that men are responsible for marriages that fail.
Yes.
And what I mean by responsible is that we're in charge. We're the leaders. We're just as Obama is responsible for the economy, healthcare, everything, then he's responsible for everything, right? He can't complain about anything on election day.
True.
He can't complain about the economy on election day. No one wants to hear what George Bush did 4 years ago. You know, a coach of a football team. If you get fired, it's because you didn't win. You don't get to say we didn't have Emmitt Smith or Michael Jordan or whatever.
Right.
So in marriage, we need our men to start standing up saying, hey, all of this is me. All of it.
Now, if you also go to essence.com/relationships, you'll see Stephen writes an article there. Today's article is 10 practical skills needed for a successful marriage. And I promised that I would let him give you those 10 practical skills, as this coming Sunday is known as Black Marriage Day in America. And if you're a married couple, this is something you probably need to be listening to this afternoon. So I hope a lot of you get something out of here. Stephen, what are those 10 practical things you can do to kind of keep your marriage
10
on
practical
point?
things. Number one, well, actually what I want to say in general is marriage is on-the-job training. We have to be trained. We have to be willing to continue to work on our marriages. And I just meet too many couples, too many husbands, too many wives that aren't working. So number 10, I came with problem-solving skills. We want to develop our problem-solving skills. Know how to work through a problem. Know how to meet halfway. Solve the problem. Don't just continue to have it out there. Number 9, putting your spouse first. You got to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to. Spouse comes before everything else in the world. At least let her believe it. Let her think it. Something. Trick her. Do something. Let her know she comes first.
Reach.
Number 8, life skills. Make sure you plan it on something. Like my wife is taking care of whether I'm here or not tomorrow. Life skills. I'm just gonna keep it real.
That's true. You got to get some life insurance.
Life
brother.
insurance.
Stop playing around. Make sure your people taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also talking to get us another education, pick up a job, make sure that where you are in your career, you continue to grow, make more money, earn more, be able to take care of your family going forward. Forgiveness skills. If you cannot forgive, stay single. If you don't know how to forgive, you got to stay single. That's not for you.
I'm doomed, man.
It's not for you. If you can't do it, you got to forgive, because it's going to be some problems. There's going to be some misunderstandings. There's going to be some issues. You have to forgive each other. Creativity skills. Number 6, be creative in your marriage.
Oh, I can create.
Be creative in your relationships. Have fun. Do some things different. Step outside of the box, because it can become monotonous if you let it. Easily, marriage can be something like a job, like a chore, like we talked about earlier. So be creative. Be proactive. You know, go after that. Number 5, focus. Focus on the positive characteristics that your spouse has or your significant other has. A lot of times we tend to dwell on the negative.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, you was talking about the faults in a person.
Yeah.
And in the first couple of years of my marriage, I was always mad about the things I didn't like about my wife, instead of the things I loved about her, being focused on those. So once I started focusing on what I loved about her, it came to me that the ones I didn't like about her wasn't that big a deal anyway. I can live with those.
True.
That's why I married her. Number 4, being confident about your marriage. Be confident. I believe that my marriage is going to last forever no matter what.
Yeah.
And so even in the midst of a fight or whatever we got going on, I look my wife right in the eye and say, ain't nobody going nowhere. Ever. And she be like, what you talking about, whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know we never getting a divorce. Never. We're going to be here. I'm very confident in what I bring to the table and what she brings to the table, that it's going to work. It's going to last forever. This problem is not our marriage. This problem is something we're going to work through. We're going to solve it. Back to problem solving again. Number 3, learning skills. Be willing to relearn your spouse. We change and we grow. I'm not the same man I was when I was 25. When you're 45, when I'm 45, I'm not gonna be the same man I was at 35.
No, that's true, because I'm 36. I'm not the same as I was at 30, 31 even.
You're not, and that's what's going on with these marriages. You've been married 10 years, you get a divorce. You've been married 30 years, you get a divorce. Relearn them. They're a different person. You're a different person. So it's okay, because they got to learn you too, and a lot of times we don't look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So always look in the mirror, always think about that. I need to be relearned, she needs to be relearned.
That's a good one, because a lot of people in relationships don't realize that, man. They still trying to live in an era that they don't live, that they're not the same person, like you said.
Not the same person, and the thing about that is you got to understand that even though they've changed, it's going to be some additional good things about this new person. There may be some things you don't like, but it's going to be some additional good things too. So look for those things and go back to the other one I said where you're focusing on the positive things.
Okay.
Perception. Make sure that when you're running around, you're married, you're always perceived to be in your marriage. Don't look like you're single. Don't look like you're just a woman that's upset and angry with whatever's going on with your relationships. Have that perception. And perception is about how other people look at your marriage and how other people look at you as a husband, and not what people just think.
And married ladies, stop putting complicated on your Facebook page. Married, you're married. It's complicated.
Last one, fighting skills. We don't know how to fight. Learn how to fight. So in a marriage, what I talk to my couples about is my fights in my marriage are no longer about 5 minutes. No matter what the issue is. 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm making my 1, 2, 3 points, I'm out. Wife, what you got? 1, 2, 3 points, let's go get something to eat. You know what I'm saying?
No, for real.
Because when was the last time you had a 5-hour argument and which y'all agreed at the end?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Right.
We argue for 5 hours. I feel how I feel, and you feel how you feel.
Right.
No one's changing their mind. So let's learn how to fight in a more constructive, positive way in which we're going forward to solving the problem.
Let's go to Applebee's and have a crown on
it.
rocks.
10 practical skills needed for a successful marriage. Stephen, I appreciate that. Don't forget,
that's awesome,
don't
man.
forget everybody, it's StephenJamesDixon.com and go to essence.com/relationships to get those 10 points, all right?